The i10 is a small car, but does that mean it's not very practical? Well, no actually. Up front, it feels pretty spacious for a small car. Like most of its rivals, the steering wheel doesn't adjust for reach, but it does go up and down, and there's plenty of adjustment in the seat, and the view out is pretty good too. Now you'd expect a car that's just over 3.5 metres long to be a bit small in the back seat, but it's really not that bad. Knee room is slightly better than in a Volkswagen Up, but headroom is a little bit tighter. Unlike the Up, you can get 3 seats in the back, but it's pretty much cramped with 3 adults in there. There's enough footroom under the seats though, so it's possible for shorter journeys. It's also just possible to fit a rear-facing child seat in the back of the i10 too, but the front passenger seat will need to be moved all the way forwards in order for it to fit. The ISOFIX points aren't very well exposed, which means that it can be a bit fiddly to locate the seat properly. The i10 scored 4 stars in the Euro NCAP safety test. Features like lane departure warning and forward collision warning are options, but they're not available on the most basic S model. The i10 has a 218-litre boot. That's a little smaller than a Volkswagen Up, but bigger than a Toyota Aygo's. There's no adjustable boot floor like you can get in the Up either, but there's space for a spare wheel beneath it. The boot opening is wider and lower than in the Up, which means it's much easier to fit a baby buggy into the space, and there's still enough room for a couple of soft bags at the same time. Or, if you'd rather, there's space for a large suitcase and a couple of soft bags. With the seats folded down, the i10's volume grows to 1,012 litres. You're left with quite a big hump in the floor where the seat backs fold over, but it's such a small car that it's still not hard to slide items forward against the front seats. Move the front passenger seat forward and it's possible to fit a bike or a TV box. Fully loaded, the i10 will hold 2 large boxes, 2 small boxes, 2 large and 2 small suitcases with enough space left over for a few soft bags. When it comes to in-car storage spaces, the i10 does pretty well compared to most rivals. The glove box is a decent size, but it needs to be just to hold the enormous owner's manual. The cubby ahead of the gear lever is big enough for a smartphone and has a 12-volt socket, a USB charger and auxiliary inputs. And there's another 12-volt socket beside the handbrake. There's a couple of cup holders behind the gear lever, and each of the front door bins are big enough for a large bottle. The door bins in the back can hold a bottle too, and there's even a small bin between the front seats. So, overall then, the Hyundai i10 may be a small car, but it's a surprisingly practical one. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and click on our logo to subscribe to the channel. Also click on the video windows to see more of our great videos.